No.
Never.
You're such a tit.
Good evening and welcome to the Plastic Crack Podcast, the only place where you talk about cod pieces on a nightly basis. Tonight I'm joined by Martin's seventh son, Stephen
Hello.
Martin, and
Hello.
from 1 Point HQ, and I am Ken from Miniature Wargaming Warriors. We are a man down again. Steve.
I'm not from 1 Point HQ, mate.
Yeah, he's not from 1 Point HQ.
What are you talking about?
Oh, I'm on crack. I'm sick
I go
of
away
it.
for a week and they forget me. That's how it happens. Just
Yeah,
like
we got
that.
some random guy, Dom, I think, from Boots on the Table.
Yeah.
We're minus Steve from 1 Point HQ. but yes, good evening, everybody.
Why are we minus Steve again? Because he forgot a password.
Yeah, Steve's a tit and forgot his password. And he's going to come on next week. Go, no, it's the security questions. Basically, what happened to Steve happened to me the other week. Yeah, do you remember when
you couldn't remember his mother's maiden name or something?
Yeah, no, basically, because he hasn't updated his security details for a while, like I did. Microsoft go, we're locking your account out. Cheers, mate. See you later. And yeah, good fun. He's going to have fun getting that unlocked. So yeah. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's well. And just a quick little shout out to people that have been in the chat. So, David, good evening, mate. We got Tim in there. We got Ricky, Carl, our sponsor, Mez's Miniatures.
Hello, mate.
GP's in the house. Corey's in the house. Lionheart, good evening, mate.
Hey, hello.
The Evil Jim Reaper.
Jim.
Nick Games, Graham's Wargaming Vault, Friends of General Haig, Ham and Jam, String 7, Yorkshire Gamer,
Yeah, sure.
Drew,
Brilliant.
Chris, Julian, Luke, Battle Matt, Louis, Josh, Miller.
Just say Miller.
Just
That
Miller.
Miller.
Facebook user. If you're watching on Facebook, come over and join us on YouTube because then you can interact and see the other chats. Julian, Old School FRPG, Crossing Obstacles, Imaginary Conflicts, John, Christopher, and Lee. That's where I'm stopping because it will just keep going, and going.
I wanted to see if you could do all that without drawing breath. You were getting redder and redder. I was going to see if you were going to keel over.
I like the idea.
Right. So, gentlemen,
Oh.
it's a new week. It's a good night tonight. So we've had some.
We can
great
start
news
hugging in a week's time.
Yes,
It's all
so we've
good,
got
mate.
some great news in the UK. So indoor gaming's allowed to go ahead. So we'll be definitely doing some of that in the future. But yes, what has everybody been up to then? So we'll start with the man that's been on secondment. He's not been here. So what have you been up to, Dom?
He's still going to got more done than us.
Yeah,
I was obviously on my 40k sabbatical. That's what.
Yeah,
I
he was at his 40k tournament.
Exactly, because that's obviously what I was doing. No, this is what I was doing.
Taking down people's number plates.
That was it. Sitting in the pub. That was my beer down there. Very nice drop of Triple X. That is from the 3 Tons Brewery in Bishop's Castle in Shropshire.
I literally thought you were going to say
just
Bishop's
sat
Walk
there.
on then.
No, God, no. And I sat there and looked at that view for quite a few nights, drinking quite a lot of that beer. That's all I did. So nothing at all.
Wow. Is it a first, ladies and gentlemen? Is it a first that Dom has not painted any miniatures?
Do you know what's even better? I actually put all the paints away before I went away. So I just literally have started, just got a few figures out. Haven't even got all the paints out yet. So yeah, that's it.
Wow.
That's my lot.
Oh.
Wow. What about yourself, Martin?
I've done
that's blown 10 minutes of this show, hasn't it? Anyway.
Hang on, Ken. You do yours because I'm stuck with something.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, all right, we'll start with me then. So, what I've done this week is I have painted some elves. So yeah, I've done some Lord of the Rings stuff. I've worked on the second magazine and got that done. Give you a few little closer pickies of the actual elves. So I went in and I used the Games Workshop painting schemes as reference, and I'm quite happy with them, to be fair. And the Archer as well. So I've gone in and done some highlighting work with some washes and bits and bobs. But the bases, I use some of that Luke APS stuff, and then I use some static grass over it as well. Quite happy with that. And
Nice, mate.
happy. It's different because obviously I'm used to painting a lot of historical stuff. Doing some fantasy stuff again. It's quite nice. Made a nice change, but I'm getting on the ECW now, so yes.
So you're enjoying it though. You're enjoying the fantasy stuff, yeah?
Yeah, I'm enjoying doing it. I love Lord of the Rings. It's quite weird because I class like Lord of the Rings is different to like normal fantasy sort of stuff. It's really weird. It's got like its own little place in my heart. Very strange, but I don't know why. Middle Earth, it just seems like its own universe to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I suppose it's so the universe is so sort of the mythology is so well developed. It's quite because it's a lot of it's based on, for example, on our mythology and our own history in Anglo-Saxon and stuff. It's a lot more, I don't know, maybe relatable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. About the closest thing I come to for Vikings, really.
Don't knock the Vikings.
And the chat goes wild.
Pillaging.
Remember, I'm hosting this week, so controversy is in the title.
That's fine. It's your channel that gets the strike. That's absolutely fine.
So, what have you been up to then, mine?
Right, yeah. Sorry about that. I Gorilla Glue, and it was still, and things were getting stuck where they shouldn't be stuck. What have I done? So I didn't do anything till Saturday night, and then I don't know. I had a burst of inspiration, really. The first thing I did, which I put up in the group, was I did some trees. So because we've got we're going to be playing some Test of Honor, but basically my little girl, she's making a little fairy garden in the back garden. You know, she's been painting stuff and been on there. And my brother-in-law sent these for her to put in, but I intercepted them on the way.
Oh basically, you've stolen your daughter's toys.
Yeah, they look good, don't they?
Evil dad.
I got 14 of these cherry blossom trees, which I based up on washers and just hit with some varnish and just to make sure they all stuck together. So I did those. And then to go with those, because I got some Test of Honor coming up, I painted up. Well, originally I was going to do just sort of a repaint on what I'd done and do some I just decided to repaint them. So I've got one starter. So that's the starter force for one in the campaign. So they're all linked battles. So you can actually do more and more points. So that's the starter size for. That's
class, mate. I'll tell you what. For 6 mil, that is some beautiful detail.
I was about to say, don't you think those are really good? I'm really pleased with that for 6 mil. I was really pleased. I thought they were ace.
I can't see their eyeballs, mate. What's going on?
I thought for 6 mil, I was really pleased with that, especially the fact that I managed to do like some stuff on the banners on the backs.
Individually based as well for 6 mil.
I know it's 6 mil. I know I've got a really good macro, haven't I, on my phone? Funny enough, I have undercoated the 6 mil. I have undercoated them. They're gradually one stage away.
That's one stage further.
One stage further. But no, and then so that's one side. Then I painted up the opposing side.
Nice.
So they both sort of exactly the same for the first battle, and then as you progress through the linked scenarios, you can buy more troops in, and your guys can get that. So they're going to be mine, the ones that are on the screen at the minute. And Hayley decided she wanted the guy of the spear of the Nagatana. So because it's more brutal looking, was her.
Yeah. Is that command base in the middle? Is that how it works?
No. It's just it's a multi base, so they come off of there.
Okay. Nice.
They're just slotty bases. But hang on a second. So they come off of there. So they're just. Oh, hang on. How do I get rid of this? There we go. So they're just like that, and then they just pop out.
Oh, nice.
And then they just go in. So so I've done more movement trays in the last sort of 2 weeks than I've done in the last 5 years. But to go with that, because you can gradually recruit in more samurai. Because I've had this guy sitting on my desk basically what happened was I just, because it was on the horse, it just sat there. So, but I've painted him up.
Oh, nice.
So I've got a samurai horse archer, which is a great deal of fun. Although I think he's the equivalent in points to about 12 spearmen, so I think he's quite high points cost.
Does that class as cavalry now? You paint the cavalry unit.
Is it on a horse? Is it on a horse?
Don't give him that out.
There we go. There we go. But that's not all I've done. So on top of that, I finished my ECW pipe block for Bard's Regiment. They're the ones that I've sort of worked on the last sort of couple of weeks. So last week's stream.
Everyone's loving the samurais in the comments. Loving it.
Cool. There we go. So view from above. I tell you what, the amount of pain that this unit has caused me through stabbing myself. Do you know what? For that, I'm really pleased with how they look. So I went with they're either
looks like me.
It does actually.
It does actually. Yeah, Ken with a beard and a beanie. Just put on a green beanie.
I bet Ken was really wear a beanie. He looks
beanie
like a beanie boy.
I wear it.
Beanie for CrackCon.
Beanie for CrackCon. CrackCon beanies. CrackCon. Glad you said beanies and not but for these ones, because normally with the other ECW regiments, you've got, say, the back rank is Miller will help me, but they've got the pikes in the air. They're standing at attention, but they're pikes in the air. They've got the ones at port at 45 degrees and the ones that are charged. So I decided just to go with charged and at port to make it a proper hedge, which is great until you're trying to put the PVA on. And that hurt.
Yeah,
that really hurt.
I bet it did.
But I'm really pleased with how they come. So yeah, this is what I mean. I actually ended up getting quite a bit done. So we've got some Test of Honor coming up, and tonight I'm just working on sticking together the bastard of Falkenberg's Calais veterans. So I'm having a lot of fun kit bashing together grisly looking horrible bastards, basically.
No. Well, Miller's got a lovely comment for you. He's just asking you got your Calais list done yet, Mike?
That's because he's painted 24. That's because what he's done this year is paint 24 cavalry. Like this one unit of, we saw it in the other, was it last week? 24 strong. Hasn't painted nothing else. Just 24 cavalry. I see. I know what you're up to.
He's being cheeky, but
the thing is, if he puts that unit on a table, the table's going to break because of the weight of it.
It's true. It is true.
This is very true, but it's great to see everyone in the comments, and obviously we just want to say thank you to everybody that's watching on the replay. You guys are golden. So make sure you check out our Facebook group as well, the Plastic Crack Podcast Facebook group. We're 2 members off of 200. 2. So
like it was only a couple of weeks ago we were saying we were off 100, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So we're 2 members. Just need 2 tonight. Can we do it? That'd be interesting. But Fisherman's Friend. For the guy, the ginger guy.
Actually does, yeah. Are you gonna do a shanty tonight then?
Yeah. I can if you want, but no, I'm gonna leave that off.
Not
for a
after
minute.
your French one the other day.
No, not after my French one, but yeah, guys, no, that's cool. It's nice, but I think Steve actually managed to get some stuff done this week, but obviously we'll wait till he's back so he can reveal to yourselves what it is. But we got quite an interesting episode tonight, so we're going to be talking about painting, different tips, different techniques, and we're going to be going over like little tricks and bits and bobs, but we're also going to talk about actual paint brands themselves, what ones we use, what ones we'd recommend, like also with like wet palettes, do you use them, do you not, different types of wet palettes, and bits and bobs like that, and brushes. So I think it's a good time to start with that, guys. So paints, what should go-to brand for historical / fantasy for you, Martin, and same with you, Dom, and why? Why do you use them? So,
do you want the flippant answer, or the?
If you could give a detailed answer, because we're a man down this week, that'd be great.
No, you've got to answer quick. So Ken's got to fill.
Got to answer quick. Whichever shop is nearest. For me personally, I mean, I used to use a lot of Vallejo. I do use a lot of Citadel paint. I do because. I don't really know. Citadel and Vallejo. I tend to use a mix between the two historicals because I know you got the game color range from Vallejo, but I find that harder. I mean, I could order it online, but I don't find that stocked as much in shops. And I just like the range at GW. There's usually, most of the time, they have a lot of paint, so it's easy to walk in.
They do have a very big range, don't they, and a lot of colors. So
I tend to use those. But yeah, a lot of Vallejo model color. I've got quite a lot of the army paint and war paints. I've got a lot more than I realised. Not as many as you, because I know you've got the big old set. But no, so I would probably say I own more Vallejo than anything else. Supplemented by Citadel.
Is it just whichever one's nearer? You haven't got a favourite in regards to like you're working with it, or
well, as we said, deck tan is like my favorite go-to color. So I have to have that, and I get upset when I can't find it.
If they stop doing it, it would be a crime against humanity, I guess.
It would be for me, because I've tried and tried. And there is no comparison paint that doesn't involve mixing. I've tried. Everyone was like, "Oh, just use Rackar Flesh from GW." It doesn't work. No. Just use I can't remember what the other one was, but yeah, didn't work. It wasn't the same. So I've got I just say, well, obviously I use the contrast paints, so you know, and I know we all do, so those, but not really. If I can't find a paint, I'll make do with it. I will go and make do with another one. I don't, again, because we've talked about variation in uniforms and that, so if I have a bit of a different red on one unit to the other unit, it doesn't bother me at all.
No, that's cool, man. That's cool. Yeah, but what about you, Dom? What are your thoughts on it?
You know, I'm really not brand loyal in any sense at all. So literally, my painting collection has everything. You know, from some really quite old paints that probably aren't any good, but I just can't bring myself to throw away. But loads of Vallejo, loads of army painter. But I have fallen in love with the old scale 75 stuff. That for me, I've just really found that a really good paint, because I like the matte finish on it, particularly. But you know, I'm not a mixer of paints, so I don't. I know a lot of people will, you know, mix up colours of their own and what have you, and I don't do that. I'll tend to, when in the old days of going around shows, and hopefully soon again, I'd literally just go down and go, "Oh, that's a nice colour. I could use that," and I just pick it up. And that's why I've got hundreds and hundreds of different colours of paints, because if I find something I want to paint, I go, "Oh yeah, that would be perfect for that." So it's sort of leaning towards scale 75, but you know, really everything and anything goes as far as I'm concerned. And of course, contrast, like you say, that's
it's been a godsend, isn't it? Contrast paint.
It just speeds things up. I think that's the thing with contrast. That's what I like. Just gets things a little bit quicker. It's not good for everything, but you know, I think
it has its place in your
arsenal. It has its place, without a doubt.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I kind of just use it for base coating, because I still highlight up everything, like all of my colours. I think the only one I don't is the Gore Grunter Fur, because I think that's hands down the best one in my opinion. But I tend to still highlight everything up afterwards, but I really like using them for base sort of base coating.
No, Julian's asked a really cool question here, actually. He's put, as someone new to Napoleonics, how do you match up the right colour paints for uniforms? Fantasy and 40k often come with paint lists, but how is the best way to work out other historical colours for like layers? That's a very good question. It could have you have answered it. You've asked a minefield. People give you different opinions, but in my personal opinion, what I tend to do is I do a little bit of research. So I'll try and find what color, for example, a French blue. You try saying a French blue, right? What's the right shade for it? And realistically, there are many different shades of blue, because as we've discussed before in history, they didn't use the same places to actually do all their uniforms. Like different dyes would be used, different productions, different times. Things would get dirty. People would scavenge uniforms off dead people. It happens. So you can have a mixed range of like different shades of the same blue if you want to. Just choose a blue that you think looks right. If you do a bit of research, like that website, if you do like 100 days, that one. it's very, very handy for like reference material. But if you can't really go wrong with it unless you use, like, say for example, the historical text tell you it was a dark blue, and then you chuck a really bright blue on it. You know, there you go. But certain people say it has to be spot on the same color, but I don't mind varying in bits and bobs, and I know Martin's like that as well. You don't, like you just said, you don't mind a bit of variation, do you?
I use like an electric blue to highlight some of mine because it's a representation. I want my model to stand out. When I'm painting French in dress uniform, I rattle candle mine with an ultramarine blue. Then I shade them down. And then I use one of the game colors. I use this one. I use magic blue.
Yeah.
Well, French are like Space Marines, so it's probably right.
So, but Vallejo do a model air color, which is actually a French blue, I think it is, and I've used that a couple of times. And it's a much brighter blue. But then I did what you did, Martin. I've started using ultramarine blue from the army painter because I do like that blue. It's a bit darker, and then you can highlight up if you want to, or give it a dry brush or something, and it does work really well. But I'm just saying for the French, obviously, if you want to go with the British, red's red in my opinion, a dark red, just any sort of dark
you can
red.
Still, I mean, you know, Julian, you do what you think's right, mate. That's my advice. I think, you know, at the end of the day, you can go on every website. I mean. So I'll give you an example. I was looking at doing my Cleve. I think it was it was one of the recent Neapolitan battalions I did, and I looked it up to see what color schemes I had, and I looked at reference books. I looked at online imagery of from contemporary pictures and what have you, and it was everything from a scarlet red up to a vivid pink. And it was like, well, which one is it, right? I mean, which do you choose? And you can read all the books you like, and it. So in the end, I went for pink because it looked cool. But you just got to choose what you. I think you've got to stick. You've got to go for a color. I mean, the reality is uniforms faded, like Ken says, they came from different production houses. Quality of the material was different.
There is no one blue.
So there is no one
red.
Yeah, I mean, generally, you know that French wore red. That's right. Red wore blue, and the Brits wore red, and you know the Prussians wore black, blue kind of color, and the Russians wore green, and the Austrians are white, and that kind of stuff. But even then, there's variations. So
yeah.
Do your research, but make your own decision. I think.
Yeah, exactly. That's the best way to do it. And if you want to ask the group, you've got over on the Facebook group, you can ask over there, and I'm sure people will give you some pointers and maybe show you some models of what they look like once they're painted in those colours.
The one thing that's really important, Julian, is do not do French. That's the only thing.
I knew you were going to say that.
Don't do French. Just don't do French. It's fine.
Yep. Choose an army that you like the color of. That's how I pick.
That's just reminded me. Sorry, that's just reminded me. I have one other thing that happened that actually I had a really, really bad week, as I was telling you guys before the stream. Right, I had a terrible, terrible day on Friday, and then I got stuck in a traffic jam, which just sucks. Right, but I got stuck behind a car, and I saw something on the back of this car, which made my day. This made my day, and all I could think of was Dom. And I had to take. We weren't going anywhere. Saved it. See, look, fate intervened. That was just for you, Dom. I was so happy.
You know, I spent so much time while I was away just thinking, how the frig am I going to paint that damn thing?
Yeah.
It was like I don't spend as much time planning a figure normally as I did with that one, and I'm gonna and I'm still not sure how I'm gonna paint it.
You know what I would have done, Martin, if I was in the station. If it was stationary, you get out, I'd have gone and put Dom on the bottom.
I should. Do you know what? If it was unfortunately it was clutch control at that point. So I probably shouldn't have. Actually, no, we were stationary actually because my
engine was off and the key was on the dashboard, wasn't it, mine? Yes. I was a passenger, so it didn't matter. Oh, well, that's right then.
Oh, that's all right. That's no problem then.
So it's a passenger. So, but yeah, no, it's that was a. Sorry. Anyway, that's a painting. Sorry, that I forgot about that. That was like my weekly highlight.
No, that's all right. Yeah, no. So that was a cool question, but I'll do like my painting stuff and what I have a lot of paint. So I've probably got 200-300 bottles of paint, which I don't need. But you know me, go hard or go home sort of thing. I've got the whole range of the Army Painter. I've got some Vallejo Model Air, Vallejo Model Color. I've got some AK paints, interactive. I've got contrast paints, and I've got some Citadel paints as well. Or quite a few Citadel paints, to be fair. And they're all in these lovely little handy dropper bottles, which is very nice.
Oh, you decant. You're a decanter.
I'm a decanter, yes. I decanted.
Oh, I wonder what you said there. Thank God for that.
Historicals, I tend to mix between a bit of use of... I did start with just Vallejo, then I did Vallejo, then the Army Painter stuff as well, mixed. And now I tend to do Vallejo, Army Painter, and Citadel, so whatever colour matches, basically, because I'm quite lucky. I've got quite a variety of paints. I just use whichever one matches. But probably my favourite paints. Yeah, but my favourite paints out of them all is quite weird, actually, because if I'm painting like consistency paint-wise, I prefer probably the Vallejo and / Army Painter stuff. The Army Painter stuff's like a gel paint, so if you want to thin it properly, you've got to get a different type of thinner and things if you're going to use it for an airbrush. The Vallejo stuff is really nice. It comes out. It's really strange because those paints come out a lot runnier than Citadel paint does out of a bottle. So you think you don't have to thin them down when you paint with Citadels originally, but you still do thin them down. Metallics, my favourite metallics have got to be the Citadel metallics. I prefer the Citadel metallics over the Army Painter stuff.
Right.
Just do. I think Lead Belch is probably one of my favourite metal colours, metallic-wise. Just ignore mine. Just having a rummage.
I'm covered in sprue, and I genuinely.
I wish you wouldn't say that. It really is concerning me.
He loves a bit of sprue.
I do.
But everyone's saying
I've lost my trumpet.
Dropper bottles 100% worth it. Yeah, they are 100% worth it. I love dropper bottles. Washes is got to be Citadel. I do love Citadel washes, but I do like dark tone from the Army Painter, but you have to thin. I never used to do it. It was thin the Army Painter, like the washes down. I never used to do it, but I do now with their quick shade mixing medium 50/50, and it seems to work really well.
No, really. So I don't always do it. I do if I'm doing a really light uniform, I will.
Yeah.
But otherwise, and I just use water. I just use water. That's all I use.
Yeah.
But
water's
I
fine,
won't do it on
isn't it?
everything. I won't. It depends on the color again. If you're looking for, but yeah, I agree.
No, exactly. People are saying like scale 75 and stuff like that as well. Yeah, it's not a paint I've ever used. Mate.
Scale 75. I swear by this. They do a brilliant range of browns. This is brown leather, and they've got a black leather. And a red leather, and they're just fantastic for all the colours. In fact, I just bought. Somebody was doing a sale and was selling this off a pack of these for 15 quid, which I thought was brilliant. All different colours of greens, which I'm going to do my elves in.
Yeah,
I think it's just fantastic because I love the matte colours.
No, but getting
really
a good brown is like a really, there's a brown that I like. It's called. I'm pretty sure. Well, it's not I love it. It's my favourite brown. Where is it? It's flat brown Vallejo, I think. Where is it? Is it that one? Is it that one? Yeah, flat brown. That's my favourite brown ever. I just love that colour.
Nice.
I use it so many different applications for it. But historically wise, browns are quite important, aren't they, for us? Like you can use a lot of things with brown on it, and horses as well. So painting horses has got to be base layer contrast all the way, 100%.
Yep.
Of course, Martin wouldn't know because he never paints a horse, but
I was waiting for it, Dom. I didn't have to
I set that up for you, mate. You set that up for me. Thank you.
Right, when you guys come round and we play by fire and sword, you'll understand why I don't like painting horses. When we basically play an entirely mounted game.
Yeah.
I love it.
At 15 mil. At 15 mil.
Yeah. Boxes at 15 mil cavalry. I used to use Saka armies in Ancients. And that's all cavalry. Loved it.
No. So
you're a sick man.
Yeah, definitely. So
says the man who's got a badger obsession.
he has got a badger obsession. He has very much.
It was Steve's fault. I had those models for ages, and then Steve reignited my love.
Did you hear what we called you last week? What we named you after?
I did hear bits of it before. I thought the glass of wine was much more appealing to listen to. Your
so you were now known as Toad of Toad Hall.
Yes, yes, I heard.
Oh dear, but yeah, no, it's different painting techniques as well are just as important. So I've seen my painting adapt over the years to what I am now. So I started off just base painting everything. I never used to layer or highlight or dry brush or anything like that. Then I went into like a phase of base painting and trying to do some layering and highlighting, but not doing it very well. And then I went into a phase of just doing contrast paints. And then it kind of adapted and has gone the other way now. So now I can actually base paint properly. I can layer and I can highlight quite well. I think that's just happened just naturally over time. But what about you guys? What do you tend to do, Dom? What would you say you're like if you're just doing like a standard unit and you just, or if you even say you want to do a special unit, say you want to do something special, does your technique differ?
No, I think I just put more effort in on it, if I'm honest. So if I'm doing a mass-produced, it's like the difference between doing the front ranks or some people put an awful lot of effort around their front ranks than they do their, back rank guys. I don't tend to do that, but there are certain units or figures I just get the itch to do a little bit more on. But I don't know. I mean, definitely the more you paint, the more you evolve your technique, don't you? And the more you sort of refine the way you do things. And watching other people's videos as well, I always pick up bits and bobs from them. I wouldn't necessarily do everything they do, but just little bits. You go, oh, I hadn't thought of it that way. I can't remember. There are a couple of bits and bobs that I've picked up over recent months, and I just sort of think, wow, that's really cool. But yeah, I mean, generally, I'll do the same process. It'll be, lots of, a lot of block colors, washes, and then a bit of highlighting or even a bit of dry brushing if I can be bothered afterwards. And it's just literally just on some units, I'll just spend a little bit more time on them. Just doing a little bit more highlighting, just going back into areas I think, oh, that just needs a little bit more, bump up. Like these guys I'm working on at the moment, I've tried Zenithal highlighting, which I'd never done before, so I'm going to try that out. Never done it.
Okay, wicked. Zenithal highlighting is a great tip.
Especially if you're using contrast.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant for that because it just makes darkest darker and the light is lighter, and it does its own shadowing for you. So that is a wicked technique. What about yourself, Martin? How's your paint evolved?
I used to. I mean, I suppose when I started, which was quite a while ago, not as long as Dom, but a while ago. Sorry, mate. I used to just do sort of base paints, and then I discovered washes, and then I suppose the very basic thing is block, wash, highlight. But I tend to sort of do before the contrast paints. Well, actually, if you take the contrast paints now, I still do the same thing. I just use those as base paints. So I do Zenithal highlight. I base with contrast or thin down paints anyway. Otherwise, there's no point in Zenithal highlighting. I then will use washes, and then I'll do like a first highlight. Sometimes I do a second highlight. I always do two highlights on red. The final highlight's pretty much in orange. And same with flesh. Flesh is I do quite a lot on, but I don't tend to plan how my stands. Command stands I do, but like at the moment, I'm building these Calais Garrison archers. I'm just making what I think looks cool, and then I'll sort them out afterwards. So I kind of paint them all to more or less the same level. Although I will spend more time on obviously on commanders or sergeants, that kind of stuff. But if it's fantasy or sci-fi, I tend to spend a lot of time on it. I think I was trying to think earlier. It's actually a question for tonight, which maybe we'll get to later, which is what is the longest you've ever spent on a single model?
Oh, that's a very
Right.
interesting question.
Which, you know, but I was trying to think for my Wild West Exodus models, for my giant bear. I think I don't know if people have seen it. It's a giant bear with like Gatling guns. Yes, it's an animal again, but I tried to paint him like a mutant Winnie the Pooh, and
It's gone again, hasn't it? This whole show's gone again.
So I spent about 25 hours, I think, total. I worked it out.
25 hours.
Yeah, but I was trying to think of a historical model where I'd done something like that, and I can't because you don't have those. I mean, you could do.
Extravagant.
It's quite but it's quite limited.
It's normally just a human, isn't it? It's normally just a human.
Yeah, it's like exactly. Or there's obviously in fantasy models you get things like wispy. But anyway, sorry. Back to the original question, which is my method. I suppose has evolved. By finding shortcuts and quick ways to do things. You know, so with the armor at the moment, I base coat it all in either lead belcher, chrome from Vallejo, or like a random silver from the army painter. I think it's chainmail. Is it chainmail? Something like that. And then I'll put different color contrast paints over them just to get the variation in armor tones, and then just pick out the things. So I can knock out the Men at Arms from Perry. I can knock out really 15 of those in about an hour. It's
don't take long, does it?
So
figures that just crack, don't you? They just you know, you think, how the hell did I do that so quickly? Because actually you look back and you think, yeah, well, not even that. I mean, I found all those sort of white uniform troops now for Napoleon. It's dead easy to do, and yet, you know, a lot of people find white really hard, but don't know why. It just seems to.
Austrians are a piece of piss. They're like,
crack on and do them.
It's so quick, so quick. But
and then I watch other people do things, and I think, bloody hell, they did that so quickly. It would have taken me a month of Sundays. So
exactly. Yeah, it's really cool, and it's just different techniques. One thing I'd love to be able to learn to do is do flames properly. So different tones in flames, but that involves quite. It's like a wet blending technique, isn't it? I'd like to learn how to do that properly.
If there's anything, I mean, most of the things I find is that's on fantasy, like on the Witch King model. So I just turned it green and did, because all his magic's green anyway. All the stuff he does is green. I can't work. I thought, there you go, that suits it. So I just don't. Although I am trying to do a lot more OSL lighting, but I don't do it on historicals. I don't know why. I just don't bother. But I think it's because I'm using historicals for mass battles. Whereas a lot of my other my fantasy and sci-fi games, skirmish games,
I've kind of gone along the same lines now. To be honest, I've done all the Lord of the Rings stuff. I've been Xenophil highlighting, and then I've gone in and highlighted everything up, faces, everything, swords, hands, whatever. But with my Napoleonic stuff, it's just a spray of what is it, Grey Seer. Then whatever I do, so like a base of what is it called? This ink for airbrushing, Liquitex white ink. If you ever airbrush for white, oh my god, that stuff is like gold. Use that, and then I'll just put the block colors in and do it like that, and just put washes over and call it a day. But with my fantasy stuff, I've seemed to highlight everything, and Xenophil highlight it all, and I don't know why. It's a bit of a weird one, but there's been some really cool comments coming in. So
there's some serious nostalgia going on. I got to show you. Millers, anybody using enamel paints anymore? I mean, Jesus! Oh my God, they were horrible stuff to work with.
No, from me.
I love Becca says, I just sniffed them from nostalgia. Absolutely right. Yeah, I think they do make them still. I mean, Sam, I think they still are out there. I was in a hobby shop recently, and not recently, obviously, but a little while ago, and they were
range in the UK has some enamel stuff.
Still some, you still buy them. Humbrol.
Humbrol.
They're still out there. I mean, they were a bitch to dry, and then to clean your brushes, was just horrible with it. Yeah, just horrible.
Drew's asked a really cool question. So he's put, do you ever go back and paint old projects? I personally don't. I get new models. I'll sell the old ones on and do it like that. But Dom, I know you've gone back and repainted some stuff, haven't you?
No, mate, I haven't. No,
you didn't do it?
No, I don't do it. I generally...
you rebased, didn't you?
I rebased, all the time, but that's mainly because of... different rule systems or what have you. Yeah. No, I have. I mean, I have done. I bought figures off eBay and stuff, and painted over or repainted those before now. But my own, no, I generally, to be honest, it is what it is. And also, certain units that I painted a good while ago, they kind of have a bit of nostalgia about them, right? There's some of the stuff that I look at and I think, blimey, I could have done a better job with that. But I remember the battles they've had. Yeah. And so I'm not going to muck around with them, to be honest. They might lose their touch, their luck.
No, exactly, yeah.
But no, I don't.
Apart from those British, I played against you with, so you just
well, they were new. What do you expect?
Christmas trees.
They got burnt anyway, so it's all fine.
Yeah, they did. What about you, mine? Do you go back and repaint old projects, or do you?
Yeah, I did the samurai. I rebased. I re-undercoated them all, and because I just sort of painted a yellow contrast paint over, and I was like, nah, it's crap. I'll just redo them. So yes.
Did you strip them back, Martin, or did you just go over the top?
No, I just resprayed them. Right. There wasn't. I think they only had. I painted them very, very basically because when the first edition of Test of Honor came out, I was like really, really excited about it, so I wanted to get them on the table ASAP. So they were very, very basic.
I couldn't do that. So you just spray over it. I'd have to not strip them properly, but I'd have to dip them in ice.
Oh, yeah. See, you're a real stripper, aren't you? Sorry,
yeah,
you're a real stripper, mate.
I have to dip it in isopropanol alcohol to thin it out. Even if all the paint doesn't come off per se, it thins it down to get a nice even coat.
Yeah, but if you haven't put it, I don't paint. I thin all my paints as I'm painting, and they only had a dusting undercoat, and then fit. I think I painted them with really thin paints in one layer. They weren't, I don't. No, I don't. If they'd have been fully painted, I probably wouldn't have bothered. It's only because it was easy. I've bought stuff off eBay before that has been basically painted, and then done it up a little bit, but. I've only done that once or twice when I saw a real deal, like a bargain, and I thought, do you know what? I'll just get that. And then I've usually ended up spending, say, about half the amount. So they're usually to the point where I would start doing washes and things, and then I go from there. But
yeah, I mean that's a really good tip. If you can find figures that are just, I've done that a few times when they're
base coated,
pretty decently base coated, then you just put a few washes on them, highlights on them, and they look actually pretty damn good.
Well, that's it. If you're going to sell stuff on eBay, just base coat it and don't base them.
Yeah,
just sell them on just sell them on stands. Just painted, blocked, and I've seen them go for loads because people can just put them on the bases they want, add some washes.
Yeah,
and done. They go straight away.
No, that's it. That's it. No, that's good. That's a good shout. There's another tip for you. But no, paint wise, I think we've covered it quite well. To be fair, apart from airbrushing, so I do a bit of airbrushing. I know you used to, mine. You haven't got a brush at the minute, have you?
No, I haven't. My airbrush broke, and I just haven't replaced it. So I do enjoy it.
No, I never had one, mate. And I'm not sure how much I would use it, but I think I've mentioned before because I tend to paint in the living room where the missus is watching telly.
Bit of a nightmare.
It's too noisy. So, and I don't paint enough. If I had a lot of tanks and stuff or buildings, terrain, I think I would do it. I'd probably invest in it.
You've got a lot of terrain.
Yeah, but it's all done, isn't it? It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got all those buildings that I guess would generate, but I genuinely, maybe I just need to spend some time with an airbrush, but I just don't really see that it would give me any significant advantage to painting it.
It does do some really nice, what do you call it, smooth base coating.
I get that. Really, but then if you're doing, that's fine on a vehicle or something like that, or a flat base. But if you're doing like I was doing those Napoleonic buildings before. And it's it doesn't matter if they're, in fact, you want them to look a little bit irregular and, because of the different tones. So I guess it's horses for courses. So I'm not, I see people do, I mean, I admire immensely people who do some tremendous work with airbrushes on figures and how they control that and do it. It's extraordinary.
Zenithal highlighting with an airbrush is very good, and also if you want to do like camouflages for tanks, so German tanks, World War II tanks, very, very good for that. You can get a camo scheme down quite nice, and it does look good. And
damn good.
It's one of those things. But yeah, no,
I'm not
airbrushing
good
was.
enough painter for that.
Yeah, everyone can learn. If I can learn to do it, you can bloody learn.
Yeah, true.
So we spoke about paints and all that sort of jazz, but let's move on to something a bit different then. So in regards to using your paint, so Martin was saying, and you're saying, Dom and me, thinning your paints down. So I tend to thin my paints 50-50 and do two base coats, two thin coats, is like the famous saying from Duncan. And I tend to do that. But for my paints, what I tend to use is I use a wet palette. But I've got a wet palette from the Army painter. Okay, and people are probably going to start shouting at me already and saying it's a load of shit. And yeah, so I agree with you that the actual foam that it comes with is crap. Don't get me wrong, it's rubbish. I hate it. Just chuck it. But to actually have a little container pot, I find it quite helpful. So this stuff's been in here just over a week now, and you can see it's still wet, because what I've done is I've gone to Asda in the UK, so Walmart, and I bought some of that dishcloth sponge. You can probably just see it there. Textile stuff. I'll try and hold it up to the camera. And that stuff is so much better than the actual like Army painter stuff that they release, this foam stuff, and it holds the water for longer. But I also use something really heavy and stick it on the top of my wet palette to keep the airtight in there, because none of these really have an airtight seal. But I use a wet palette. I never used to, but I've used it for about a year and a half now, and I swear by a wet palette. And you can make one out of just one of these little tubs. I've actually got a video on my channel how to make one just using one of these tubs. So if you're interested, go check it out. But what about yourself, Martin? Do you use a wet palette? Do you just use a normal palette?
We've been here before. Do we have to? I don't want to dredge up old wounds. No, I don't. And the reason I don't is because I can't really go into it. Basically, I have experienced other people using wet palettes who don't clean wet palettes, and they honk.
Yeah, they need a week's use, and then you clean your wet palette.
No, I don't tend to. My good friend Kev, who I do a lot of my gaming with, he does. I've never. I like the
dry out on you. Do you like dry out while you're thinking? It just seems like a waste.
While I'm painting.
Yeah.
Not really. I tend to use it all, and then what you're painting what's drying out. This is what I mean. Like, how much are you mixing?
So if you got that's what I mean. So like, say you got a batch of 15 guys in front of you, and you're painting all their their trousers blue. Okay.
Yeah.
If you just put a little blob down, surely that's going to dry out pretty quick. Or do you not find it does?
No, I just put out enough to do 15. And then I pin it down. Like I don't understand the. To me, I don't know. Maybe
you're a much quicker painter than me. I just find paint dries out on me.
I don't find it dries out particularly. I tend to. No, I don't really. I like. It's really hard. I like the idea of a wet palette.
Yeah.
In theory, I like the theory of a wet palette, but it just doesn't. This doesn't bother me because I know people say, "Oh, you can put it away and your paint will be there again." It's like, well, yeah, but so will the pot.
Yeah.
So I'll just come back and get the pot.
Have you ever used one?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have used one. Yeah.
I used one, and I, like I said, I liked it, but I can't think of a situation whereby I'm painting something. So say like my Wars of the Roses, right?
Yeah.
I'll paint all the red and I do it all in order, but I know my formulas and I know my recipes that I'm using for doing those in my head. So I'm not I'm never in a situation whereby, because I don't want to be in a situation like what if I lose my wet palette, or what if I don't leave it airtight and it all dries out? And, oh no, I can't make that again. So I tend to I don't know. To me, it just seems it's a bit redundant from the way I paint.
Yeah. See, I find it quite handy because I might do an hour's painting, say in the morning, and then I'll come back. I might just do 10 minutes, just doing one foot or something like that. And I don't want to squeeze out a whole other thing, mix it all up again, and just I'll have some left over that I won't use. So even if you just put a little blob there, I might not use it all, and I just find it, I just
I think I can. Yeah, I don't tend to go through masses of it.
No, you paint in one batch though, don't you? So like you might do one base like in the evening. You'll sit there and you'll do your painting.
Yeah.
You? Yeah.
Unless I'm working on for example, the Moonstone miniatures, but I'll do one, or the Burrows and Badges, but I'll do one thing. I'll do I work on one element of the miniature at a time when it's a single model. So I'll paint the scarf, and I'll do the scarf all the way through to finish. And then I'll do the main clothing all the way through to finish, wash, highlight, final dry brush. I do all of it. When I'm doing single miniatures, I paint each part all the way through to finish. I don't do all the bases, then come back and do all the washes. I do every single bit individually, because that way I can be a little bit messier and I can get paint on the surrounding areas to finish something. And then I tend to do whatever's been molded highest first. So, so a scarf I'll do because it's usually molded above the chest area. And when you're painting the chest area, you can cut in up to that thing that's been molded. Whereas if you do the chest area and you paint the scarf next, there's a higher risk of you painting onto it. I don't know. It sounds like I'm going a bit more into it. It's not as complicated as it. So just made that sound.
No, it's a cool thing, man. You know, it's just one of them things. Everyone's got their own different techniques, haven't they? And their different ways.
I'll tell you what, if this show shows you anything you weren't aware of, that there is no one golden technique. You do whatever it is that works.
The comments are agreeing with you, though, mate. They're agreeing with you. Don't use wet palettes. See, maybe that's just.
I don't use one either. I have to say, I'm exactly the same as Martin.
Maybe it's a fantasy thing where I've come from.
Shrink 7. That's my man. There you go. White ceramic tile. And if you work on a lot of building sites like I do, you get a lot
plenty.
Of. I have 3 regularly on the go. And if you glue a washer onto one side like this, you can put your magnetized stuff on it.
Perfect.
There you go. I found out by accident as well that I dropped too much glue and this got stuck onto it. And then I realised the magnetized stuff I could stick on there and then paint and actually have the palette like this. Yeah.
Job done, mate. So Dom, you definitely don't use one, do you? So
no, I'm the same as Martin, really. I mean, I have
open to it,
and yeah, in this case, I use one. I have had a wet palette, but I very, very rarely use it. I mean, I started to use it and I thought it was pretty good, but like I said earlier, I don't tend to mix my own colours.
Yeah.
So it doesn't bother me if I use, if I put a blob down on the paper and it dries up after I've used, the painting, then I'll just put another blob down. I mean, how long does it take you to go through? How often do you go through a whole pot? I mean, contrast paint you go through quite a bit, and washes you go through a lot, but not.
Yeah, but I'm a diehard.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. See, how many figures will a bottle like that get you through?
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that. But imagine being on that last model in your batch, and you've run out of paint, and you.
Yeah, but then you just plan ahead, mate. I see when I'm I've got various paints that I use a lot of, and I make sure that when I'm sort of 3/4 of the way through it, I buy another one. So I've got it.
Yeah, but that's because you're organised.
Yeah, maybe. Well, in that case, I might be, and not in all of them. But yeah, I just don't. I mean, I'm a real heathen. So look, I've got a letter here from Vodafone. I shouldn't show that, should I? Because I've got an address on it. But I've just stuck a load of glue, a bit of paint on it, and I'm just using that as my.
Oh no!
I've just seen Leslie's comment. He's going to upset Steve. Steve, look, I'm going to put. Look, these are just all types of fashionable trends like kit bashing instead of converting figures.
Leslie, I'm actually going to give you a clap. That's brilliant. Oh, I love it. Love it. Hopefully your wet palette survives the house move. Yeah, oh Christ, yeah, that's going to go over in my hands held like this, like walking it. All basically, anything to do with my models, I'm taking over personally myself. Nobody's touching it. So,
I know it sounds horrible, but I kind of hope that, like, actually, no, I'm not going to say it.
You're an arsehole.
No, not that they get broken. No, I was actually going to say they get broken. I was going to say they get broken, but they just get taken to someone else's house. They just get delivered to the wrong place.
Evil man.
I just remember how upset you were about the bloody delivery. I can imagine what you're going to be there like going, my whole collection's coming over.
Oh my god, can you imagine? He'd be a nervous wreck, wouldn't he?
I know, it'd be hilarious.
I'd hunt down the guy that drove the van there, and I would make him drive me to the person's house where he's delivered it to, no matter where it is, and a baseball bat may be in my hands. But no, it's just one of them things, isn't it? But Facebook user, he's saying it's the first time. What's he used like choosing weight palette? I have particular paints that dry out quickly or is too thick. There you go. So there's a good example. If you are watching on Facebook, try and watch us on YouTube. Only reason I say that because you'll see all the other comments as well.
Someone was asking a question, looking for advice on how to. We've got so many comments, I've lost it. But someone was new to Napoleonics, looking for advice on painting white uniforms.
Watch my Italian video.
Here we go. Nathan, he said, first time I'm able to catch you guys live. Love the show. Good on you, mate. You've got taste. Well done.
Yes,
I'm new to Napoleonics. I've always struggled with white. I'm sure many have. Any tips? Well, yeah, you could go and watch Ken's video, or you can find out how proper people do it. No, he did a good video, so go and watch Ken's. My personal
I'll link it.
Approach is this one. So I do light grey undercoat, and then I've got from Scale 75. This is called Warfront paint. This is what is it? SW27 Creme Vice, and then its companion is this one, which is SW58, just called White. So I do the creamy one on top of the grey, then I put a wash on it, and then I highlight it with that one. And it just works perfectly every single time. If you look at all my Clevebergs, my Neapolitans, they're all done that way. Easy.
Well, the link's in there in the chat now for how to paint white. So
if you
bugger off.
I mean, the simple thing is, it's not
a difficult color.
It's not as hard as you think it is.
No,
have a go at it.
Off whites are the best thing to use. Never just paint directly white.
Never paint white. Yeah, white is only there for the highlighting.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, or dry brush at the end. Use it as a dry brush.
What would you say is the hardest color to paint?
Oh, yellow.
Yellow's got to be up there, hasn't it?
Yellow, because it's so translucent.
And I always start with a white undercoat on for that.
Yeah, pink, mate, pink. Honestly, I know it sounds really stupid. Pink. If you want a really bright yellow, pink. Yeah.
If I want a really bright yellow, paint it pink.
Paint it pink. I promise you. I honestly promise you. Paint it pink underneath, because what happens is that I've watched Goobertown Hobby's video on this, and he done all the science shit behind it. So it just works.
It's
you
put the science.
It's
only
like
quality over here at the Plastic Crap Podcast.
Is that like did you say what you said when you learned about gravity? Yeah, that's some science shit today. This is why stuff falls down.
Yeah, but no, honestly, pink is absolutely spot on, and I'm not even winding anyone up. If they want to try it, give it a go, prove me wrong, and I'll show you a difference between it. It's so bright, it makes it, and you don't have to use as many coats either. So
do you remember we had to I watched one where they said the best undercoat for flesh is green.
Yeah,
which is just.
It's weird, isn't it? It doesn't seem right, but it works. It just.
I think it's because if they're pro painters, they're just bullshitting just to see what they can get people to do.
What kind of bullshit can we tell them this week?
I got 100,000 subscribers. What can I get these idiots to do this week?
Yeah.
I know. Let's put it in the oven.
God, don't start
cook
that.
The figures. Don't start the cooking thing again.
No, not the bloody cooking thing. But no, that's quite. It's quite cool. With speaking about wet palettes, but guys, what about your brushes? Here's your next one. So for me, I use 2 different types of brushes, 2 different makes. So I use either the Army Painter ones, and the one I use the most of is the Regiment brush, and that one is my contrast brush, a base brush, and also like my metallics. But the other stuff I use is these Creative Models Red Stable Kolinsky brushes. Okay, I get them from a guy local to me. He's I'm trying to think of the bloody hell he is now. CMB Models. I'm sure he's probably in the chat, and he'll put a link in a minute. But he does them quite cheaply as well. And these brushes, I swear by them. The number 2 brush is, again, beautiful brush, and the tips last ages on them. I used to use the Games Workshop ones, but found out I don't like getting ripped off, so I use some different ones. Just because getting paint in the ferrules with those is so easy. I don't know why it is, but I just find it so easy, and the ends just tend to split on me so quickly as well. But what about yourself, Dom? What brushes do you use, or do you swear by a particular brand?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you paid attention, you've seen the video I did on this, mate. Obviously, so yeah, so that I've just put the video in the link just to get my own back on you. So do you know, I would honestly say, and maybe controversial, but it was interesting talking to other people around that video I posted around it, was don't be too snobby about your brushes, right? So everyone goes off and get all these really expensive brushes, and you don't need to have, because you're a beginner, you don't need
£2.97
for the larger areas. You don't need big, really neat brushes, or these, things that are going to cost you 15-20 quid a pop. So that would be my first thing for beginners: is just get yourself a cheap brush to do the areas that you don't need to worry about, and when it wears out, throw it away, right? I've really fallen in love with these mini wall painter brushes from Russia. They're Kalinsky, and they're really cheap. That video I posted, I did a quick video showing where I got them from, and they're really cheap, and they come from Russia. They really come very quickly, and I bought a load of them, and I'm really, really pleased with them. They hold their tip really nicely, but I use them for the detail work. So I'll use a cheaper brush for the larger areas, and then I'll use this for the detail work. And I've got this one here, which has become my go-to brush. It's a 1.5. It's a 1.5. Okay. I kind of like 2, and I kind of like 1, but this is a 1.5, and it's absolutely perfect.
Well, it's perfect. That's cool.
So, but yeah, it's my thing.
Yeah, is there any sort of brushes you wouldn't bother with, Dom, or is there anything that you probably
would
go
for,
honesty, like the cheapy ones from Amazon that you get like 100 or something for like 5 quid?
Well, I know our friend Steve, late lamented Steve. He bought a whole load from Amazon. I bought a whole load from Amazon. I think, again, it depends what you're using them for, right? If you're going to be doing lots of detail work, they're probably not going to last you, and it's probably a bit of a false economy. I know he bought about, I think I bought 100 or so, and he bought about 100 or so for about 5 quid or something on eBay, on Amazon, and it's like, what are you going to expect, right? You have what you have. But if you look after a brush, generally, if it's half decent, it will last a good while. Now, some people use all these soaps and all this, but I think honestly, just running it under cool water, licking it back to shape, that kind of stuff, I think is just crucial. But never leave the paint on it. But I also love, I forgot to say, I love the new Army Painter, well, not that new anymore, the Army Painter dry brushes. They're like makeup ones with the rounded heads, and you get 3 different sizes. And they are fantastic for dry brushing. Really, really good. But yeah, my humble opinion. Everyone has it. But people get very excited about brushes, probably more so than they do about paints, don't they? There's amazing loyalty for certain brands of brushes, more than they do with paints. It's really
exactly. What about yourself, Martin?
So for base coating and general work, I use whatever brush I can get my hands on. I generally use a number 1 or a number 2 brush for my base work, and then a 0 for highlighting, and then I go down to like 00 and that for like detail work and eyes and things like that. I used to use Army Painter, but I don't like triangular.
Oh, I love
grips.
it. I love triangular grips.
I used them for ages, right? And I went back to a standard one, and I felt that my painting improved tenfold after using it. I had a steadier hand. I didn't have to exert. This sounds so stupid, but I felt like you had to put more pressure on when you're holding a triangular one. But I also don't like. I don't think I've got one kicking around anymore. I don't like ones. I use these for ones that got chunky. I don't like that either. I don't like that.
No, I've got some of them, but I don't.
I'm currently using for base coating ones like this. Sort of like that. But to put things, I use for detail work. I use Winsor & Newton. So that's what I use.
Okay.
I use Winsor & Newton Series 7
So they
for.
They're like 15 quid a brush, aren't they, or something like that? Are they that sort of brush?
Only if you go to like an art shop, you can pick them up for about 8 quid.
Oh, okay, it's not too bad then.
I got so I only have a couple. I've got a series Winsor & Newton Series 7 double O brush for detail work, which is lovely. I can't. I'm going to sing the praises. It's fantastic. I've had this one for nearly 2 years, and it's fantastic. I use that for all my detail. I use that for my livery, doing all of that stuff. And then I've got just a zero brush for other detail work. Just when I don't know. Obviously, if you use the cheapo brushes, they split a bit easier, and sometimes when you're painting, you'll get this stray strand just flicks off. And you know, again, but it all depends how you look after them. Dry brushing, though, I just use 50p makeup brushes off of Bury St Edmunds Market. And if you're good, you can get like double-ended ones like this, so you get two brushes. You know, so again, but so yeah, I tend to use workhorse brushes for all of my base coating and general work, and then I'll use a Winsor & Newton when I come in to do my fine details and my you know, my liveries and things like that. And then all brushes get relegated to basing brushes once they're once they get near the end of their life. Especially when you're doing big multi bases, brushes like this for slopping on
PVA,
you know,
very
PVA
handy.
or you know, whatever. Always helpful. So yeah, but you're right. People do. I see a lot about those broken. Is it broken toad?
Broken toad.
Yeah. I see a lot of those, and I think I don't know. I don't think he's in the chat side, but I saw that Leon bought some, but I don't know what his verdict on them was. If has anyone tried that? I'd like to know, because I keep on seeing, because obviously they come in a nice wooden box, but I don't know how much you're paying for the box.
How much you're paying for
everything is more attractive than a wooden box.
Everything is, yes. But I've dry brushing like buildings and stuff. I use these makeup brushes, like you're saying. Just massive makeup brushes that I may have robbed from Laura, and she because she doesn't use them. But yes,
they're yours, really, aren't they? They're yours,
they're mine. But no, it's one of them things, and it's just with brushes and stuff, it's whatever suits the individual, isn't it? It's like you were saying, you don't like triangular ones. I love triangular brushes. I can't stand.
Do you know what? I can't remember why. I think I just couldn't find the brand I was using, because I can't remember what I was using. Anyway, I couldn't find them, so I just had to buy another one, and I just found personally, I thought my painting
improved,
and then I've not gone back to use them. I found it really hard then to use the brushes. Like, I've got one here. I've got that's for, I use this for getting in between legs when I'm doing the PVA and stuff like that, little hard to reach areas. That's what that was relegated to now.
Well, I'll tell you what's an interesting theory behind it. It's like, whenever I buy a new brush, I always think to myself, I paint better. And I've worked out why that is. It's because I'm slower with the brush at first. I don't just go really quick, so I take my time with it. Because I don't want to ruin the tip or get paint down the bezel. I seem to be a bit slower, and a bit slowing down can actually improve. Well, I think it can improve your painting overall, really.
Oh yeah. But see, that's the thing though. With what I found with lockdown is that I didn't. Well, obviously I still managed to have some games, but I already had loads of models painted. So in the new stuff, I was a bit like, don't know why I'm rushing, because who am I playing against?
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's an interesting one,
but should probably mention our sponsor, Carl. I know he's had to drop out. I know he has to drop out the comments.
Literally about to, but yeah. Go on, Martin, you do it.
I was trying to think of something funny to say then, but I couldn't. Of course, as always, we are sponsored by Mezzers Miniatures from Carl. So make sure you head over to mezzersminiatures.co.uk and you can get yourselves all sorts of lovely V&V miniatures Avonpost French. I think he just been restocked. I think I saw something about that. But every time I say that he's got something, it turns out that he doesn't. So I don't.
And he doesn't sell busts.
I've never said that. I think I said that he'll make any flag you want, but I definitely never said that. He doesn't do that either. But he has. I saw some very cool from the Greek War of Independence range. I meant to save a photo.
Oh, they do look nice, don't they?
And the guy that's putting out, and you can get Lord Byron. And I didn't actually. This is how little I know. I didn't know that Lord Byron, the poet, went over to the Greek War of Independence. I didn't know that. I was on my break today. I was reading about it, but what I really like is there appears to be 3 main bodies that have come out, but lots and lots of different weapon options. Like where they're holding muskets, some of them are holding like double-handed swords, and they actually are different heads, and they look really posable. So I am quite taken, but I don't need another project just yet. But anyway, they're going to be on his store soon, so make sure you go over. If you hang around, please hang around, and we will have the discount code up in the last 15 minutes. It will net you a lovely 10% discount. Yeah, go over and check it out.
No, definitely, yeah. So thank you, Carl, for sponsoring the channel. But yeah, no, guys, it's an hour and 10 in. I can't believe how quick it's going already. So I thought just like a little breakup sort of thing, we'll just go through some comments quickly. And from then we'll probably break into some news, and then we'll come back and talk about some more to do with painting. So just going to have a quick look now. So people obviously mentioned about all the brushes and stuff like that. Disposal of the brushes. What's he say? Disposable of brushes is the way to go for it. Oh, disposable brushes, modeling for advantage for the newbies. He likes his disposable brushes. No, that's cool, isn't it? You can got Josh. He's bought like 30 of them and used like 3 in 3 months. So again, it's how you look after your brushes, isn't it? It's one of those. It's one of those things. But Leslie's he's put for good fine quality painting. It more about the length, so about the bristle length. So you can get brushes that are very short bristle length. So from art shops over the years, even if you buy the same brand, it often varies in quality. You'll get what you pay for. No, that's very true, Leslie. No, you're right about that, mate. So yeah, definitely. I don't mind. It's really weird for a bezel. I prefer not a super long bezel, but one that's in the middle, if that makes sense. Some people really like a long bezel, don't they? And there's some. Fucking hell, that's so bad.
What the hell are you talking about?
I'm covered in sprue, and he likes the super long bezel.
I'm very concerned by tonight's show. I apologise, people. I really do.
Oh, Jesus Christ, what is going on? I've got to go to work at 2:30 in the morning today, so you know, should be a fun one. I've got to go meet some random guy in an alley with a super long bezel. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, sorry.
It's all right. It's your channel. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Oh, dear. So, old school FRP is he's used 3 different types of makeup brushes from his grocery store. Oh, okay. Well, it's great for dry brushes. Don't shed bristles like the old warm paintbrush. No, I've got to give you that, actually. To be fair, the makeup brushes don't tend to shed bristles. It's probably because when people are doing makeup, they don't want the bristles to end up on their face. I don't know if they use stronger glue or stuff like that.
I used to use one a lot. Was that I found them really difficult to get them to reform their kind of shape after you clean them.
Yeah,
especially those sprayed out ones. You know, those like I don't know what they're called, but I remember nicking one off Elaine because she hardly ever uses them, and it was like a spade, and I thought that'd be perfect. And it was brilliant for a while, but then I could never get it clean properly, and also I could never get the shape back to how it had originally been.
No. Apparently, Martin, you're going to be into rub boxes next. Apparently, from Leslie.
Oh yeah. I need to order some more of those, actually. Can you see behind me? So these are the ones I did the other day. And then since then, I filled up all of the top of them with models I've painted since then. So I'm using that as my sort of note of when I need to buy a new rub box is when I fill up on top of that rub box. Now I need to buy a new one to put those ones in. That's my... that's a really uninteresting thing to say, isn't it? But yeah, I'll shut up there.
Yeah, shut up while you're ahead.
Dom, apparently you have to base your otter, so you need to do it.
How am I going to base it? What do I need to do, GP? A riverbank scene, maybe.
Oh, you've just dropped it.
It's a pirate, so it's either got to be riverbank or planking.
I was going to get a boat for it. I thought that would be perfect.
Yeah, give it a boat. Yeah, like in a leaf or like a nutshell, like an acorn shell.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah,
or he could be like surrounded by barrels of grog and things like that. That'd be quite cool as a pirate. Yeah, no, definitely. But yeah, no, guys, I tell you what, I think it's time for some news. So, been a bit of news this week, a little bit more than there was last week, anyway. So, I'll start off with some stuff from Victrix. So, Victrix have released these guys like for their what's this stuff called again?
Late Roman.
That's no, not Late Roman. What's
Romano British, aren't they?
No, not what they're called. They're not actually models yet, are they? They're
renders. They're renders.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. So they're renders of they're Late Roman British. Okay. Yeah. So, what do you guys think? Dropping Martin right in the shit. There you go. There you are, Martin. What do you reckon?
Martin thought they were.
There's only honesty on this channel, and you can, I've not seen the other ones.
I know Martin's waiting to get in with the truth here, but he doesn't want to say it. I think they look rubbish.
Yeah,
I agree with Martin.
Right. Okay. He's gone that way. I didn't know. Right. I am severely underwhelmed. I also can't work out, and I think I've seen this before. I can't work out why they're all sort of like they're fighting in a gale or something. Like why
they are sort of leaning over, aren't they?
I'm not. I mean, I've got the Gripping Beast ones, right, which are plastic ones, okay, and they've got about 3 poses, about 4 different heads, but you get 40 in a set for like 20 quid, which includes our archers as well. I did all of my Dux Britanniarum army out of one box, pretty much, and they did the job and they looked good. They also had a mix of chainmail, and I just not. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I was expecting a little more. Yes,
you're right, Sam. They are. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping. Yeah. So hopefully they're renders. Obviously, that's not final production. So obviously, like that guy up at the second one in from the top right. Yeah. He's kind of going, "Way."
It looks like he's stabbing someone on the. It's just weird, isn't it? It looks like an awkward pose. It's just. And like I see down the bottom, obviously, I don't know if they've just done it because they're renders, but those 2 heads look exactly the same.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, it's not.
It doesn't look right, does it? It just doesn't look right. I mean, for Victrix do some lovely models, and maybe these are very early, but some of the faces on some of them look pretty good from what you can see.
Oh yeah, and it looks like they'd be good for contrast because they've got lots of creases and stuff like that for washes to sit in. Don't get me wrong, any models are good, but a little bit more work for these, I think. They look very. But do you find the Victrix stuff at the minute? Their dynamic poses, they want to be a bit different. Like, look at their cavalry stuff they're bringing out. It's all very dramatic, and you don't really have a lot of stationery, do you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, but the thing is, everyone likes a dynamic model, but at the end of the day, sometimes you want just something, Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because I was looking and going, because when we played Dux Britanniarum, we got a bulk out with reinforcements as they come in, and I was like, I'll pick up this set. At the moment, I'm more tempted just to go back and get a £20 box of the Gripping Beast ones. But that's my personal opinion. That's just me.
You're entitled to that opinion, mate. Of course you are.
I'm with you. Actually, I agree with you.
They don't sing it for me either, and not being into the thing. I think the weapons look pretty cool. I like the look of the weapons; they look pretty nice. But yeah, apart from that, they're a bit too dynamic, if that makes sense.
Yeah, hang on. I'm just gonna hang on a second. I think I've got them just here actually. Right. No. Okay, so I don't know how well this is going to come out there, but there's the Gripping Beast ones there.
Yeah, they're coming out all right. Yeah,
they're just very straightforward. But you see, but this guy, there we go. Oh yeah, it's back to front, isn't it? So this guy here, you can get that sort of ranked up well over the shield, and then you've got lots of different archers that you can put in. I don't know. They just did what I don't see buying that set at the moment's doing that this one wouldn't. But that's only renders. They're only renders. There could be a lot more coming out.
Yeah. No, that's it. That's cool. So next thing I was going to show is from the Assault group. So they've done something a bit different. So keeping along the animal theme, they've done some dogs here. I think these are available Friday, actually.
Good. I'll rush out and buy them.
So 28 mil. Pretty sure they're 28 mil, but it can be quite cool for I guess if you want to do things with a bit of terrain and stuff to have some animals roaming around. So it's just something a bit different, and I like that about the Assault group.
Look at speaking of dogs, right? There aren't burrows and badgers. I've had a nightmare with dogs. Look, because I want some medieval hounds, right?
Right.
So I have all sorts of different dogs.
Oh my god!
I got hunting hounds. I got wolfhounds.
They're not all the dogs. They're not all the dogs they do. They've done Alsatians, wolfhounds and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, the problem I had was when I bought the wolfhounds, it's like I knew wolfhounds were big, but of course this is where scale creep actually mattered. So I put this one. I can't remember who they're from. I think it's CP Miniatures, and I put this wolfhound next to a Warlord Games model. It might as well have been a horse. Wow. And then next to a Warlord Roman, it was basically a horse, and I put it next to the Perry, and I was like, that still seems pretty big. Put it next to a Victrix, I was like, right, okay, that seems like about the right size.
yeah. It's a weird one, but yeah, they're doing those. But that's the thing I like about the Assault group is they do odds and quirks. They do a lot of random little bits, which I really like. They don't just stick to one range. It's always worth going to check out their stuff because they're always doing new things, and I do like them. They do some beautiful World War II stuff. Their machine guns, where you haven't got to mount a bloody MG42 on a tripod, is just next level shit. Is so nice that it's one whole piece. So yeah, if you get fed up with the Warlord machine guns, go to the Assault group and check them guys out. But speaking of modern warfare, you got World War III from T Yankee. So they've released a West German starter force. I know we don't really talk about Team Yankee that much, but if you're into your Flames of War and are thinking about doing something a bit more modern,
I think Kaiser's in the comments, so I don't know if that's something he's.
I'm sure. See, this sort of period does appeal to me. It's really weird, this sort of modernish sort of thing. It does, but I'd like more infantry based than vehicles. So I'd like it to be like a bolt action, but modern sort of thing. That would be my thing. It's a bit weird, but no, I quite like it. Quite cool. So yeah, that's not for you, is it, Dom? Not your cup of tea, is it?
I would love to love it, to be honest. I really would, because I actually love the tanks and the vehicles.
Yeah.
I think they're just so cool.
Yeah.
But
the jets are really cool. I like the jets.
And I've never played the game, so I must do it sometime. But when I watch videos of people playing, it just seems to me like just buckets of dice and everything's blown up within the space of the first few seconds. And I just think, it just doesn't do it for me.
No.
I wish it did, because I love those. I look at those and I think that's really cool. And like you, I'd love to do that sort of later, sort of modern period-ish type warfare.
Yeah, like Cold War sort of thing.
Yeah.
Weird.
It's really interesting. The sort of whole what if. What the hell is Martin doing tonight?
I have no idea. He's rattling around something.
Rattling around his drawers.
I'm trying to find a specific arm on about the 100 spruce that I've got.
It's like listening to your grandma finding the napkin that she wanted. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I try to find a right arm that has the same armor as the left arm that I want to use.
I do tell you one thing though. I do want to give the Cold War. So I've mentioned it before. Cold War style bolt action game would go. If I can find a rule set that does it, I'm definitely interested in trying that.
But didn't you do the Korea one?
Yeah, I've done Korean, but it's still not that modern. No, I want something where it's you've got your more modernish sort of Cold War chieftains and all that sort of stuff, and just about 1970s or something like that,
Right.
Round about there. I want to have a little go and little dib into that at some point. I think that's going to be next year anyway, because I've got too much stuff to do this year already. But I think that's definitely a future thing at some point. But Warlord Games have released a new plastic light tank Stuart. So they've released the M5 Stuart. Rubicon do this kit as well. I've got to admit, I do like both kits, like both Rubicon and like the Warlord Atelieri kits. But I must say, for variety, just because whenever I bought a Rubicon kit, if they do two different types of turret, normally you can just use both types of turret on the same chassis, so you get 2 tanks basically rolled into one. Atelieri kits and that you don't tend to get that option very well, because they normally do like a different hull, or they don't give you the different hull, and it's one of those pain in the ass things. But I have seen this kit, and it is actually quite nice. So that's coming from Warlord, and that's 18 quid. That is at the minute.
Can I tell you something probably a little bit controversial?
Oh, here he goes. Okay, now here we go. Yeah,
I bought a Rubicon kit of the Panzer.
If you dare say what I'm going, what you're going to say,
I genuinely preferred the Warlord kit.
Can I agree with you, Martin? I agree with you.
I don't. Do you know what? And I can't tell you why. I found the Rubicon kit looks very nice, but the experience of putting it together,
it's more of a modeler's kit.
But then we talked about what is we're getting back into that. But it normally wouldn't bother me. But I genuinely just. I don't know. I think they look really nice, but for me personally, I've only bought one. But again, I was a bit underwhelmed, shall we say?
No, I'm entirely with you, Martin. I find them, if you're a modeler, they are fantastic, and I can see why people love them. But for me, it drove me batty.
Oh no, I love them.
Absolutely drove me batty.
That's it.
Batty,
Cheers, Dave. He's put Force to Force, Cold War's gone hot. Brush Wars for 1970s, 1980s. I'll check that out, mate. Thank you very much.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I'll have to definitely check that out. Martin, did you find a bit of news, did you?
Yeah, so I had a couple of bits. Well, there was one. So I was scooting around. Now I know see Steve's not here, and I really got this for him. But basically, in the past, I do enjoy some War Machine and some Hordes. I haven't bought any for ages, but I still follow them. And most of the time, it's we're putting out this big mech or this big thing. But then I was going through it today, and they've just released this, and I was going to share it just for absolute hilarity's sake. So that's a new model in Hordes called the Slaughterhouse. It's 120 mil base for the Grimkin faction in Hordes, and it's basically walking house. And I just loved that model. I just thought it was awesome. It probably will be a lot of money. It is all resin. It will be a lot of money,
resin.
but I'm not on. It's resin, and it's very big. I'm not going to buy it, but I just wanted to share it because I just thought it was cool. So that it's just something a bit different to see. And then we don't often talk about this because
Dom was there last week, but yeah.
But basically, I suppose one of the big news is in the hobby generally, and I think we all came from this background, is there's a new edition of Age of Sigmar. Yes, coming out. There you go. I don't know very much about Age of Sigmar. I know I played the first edition and wasn't blown away. But
so this is third edition, isn't it?
This is third edition, so they announced it. So for everyone who's in that, because I've seen on the group, there's some people that are painting not orcs or whatever they're called now. Uruks. Is it Uruks? Orcs? Uruks? So, yeah. Or is it Uruks? Lord of the Rings. I can't remember. Urukai. But so they got a new one coming out. So I suppose there's going to probably be a big splash of new Games Workshop models. And I was actually, to be honest, that's the cover of the new rulebook, and I quite liked it. To be honest, I thought that was quite a cool image. So if you're into your Age of Sigmar and your Games Workshop stuff, then yes, you have a new edition to look forward to. And when it comes out, I'm sure I'll have a look at the models because they always come up on my feed, and I like nice models. So there we go. So Age of Sigmar. That was my two bits of news. Both nothing to do with historicals.
No. Well, I was hoping to find some news on Middle Earth. I'm sure they probably, because they just had Warhammer Fest. So I'm sure there's probably some Middle Earth stuff that's going to be new, but I don't
think they announced anything. I don't think they. I watched it. Look, I watched it. I don't think they announced anything.
Wow.
As far as I'm aware, they've got new source books that are coming out, but then they release those fairly regularly. I think they're carrying on re-releasing for limited amounts of time some of the old kits, some of the old metals, and that they've been doing like flash sales. Well, I say they're not flash sales, but they've released them for like 30 days. You can order this, and then they disappear in like seconds. but I didn't see a great deal else, because this time last year I think they did all the Rohan stuff, all the Rohan buildings.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
And that, which
maybe they'll get their own release at some point, but I'm glad, really, because I've got enough to do. but no. So that was the news this week, guys. I see that people have put
these.
You got some. Oh yeah, of course.
Well, I only saw this one, which I was kind of intrigued by. This is Test of Resolve rule set.
Yes.
Which is War of the Roses. I know you saw it, Martin. I can't remember whose channel it was, but somebody
it was Winston's channel.
Winston, that's it. And they look really interesting. It's a specialist, obviously, War of the Roses rule set. And I saw he did a really interesting. He play tested them apparently through the lockdown over Zoom with the authors, and they were talking about the rules, and they sounded intriguing, but they're not cheap. They're not cheap at all. I know, because they're nicely produced, and obviously they've done them. It's economies of scale, right? So when you produce something, you're only producing a small number. They cost a lot of money, but I would love to see them play before I would.
I think that's it. Was it? It's 25 quid for the rule book, I want to say, and 15 quid for the source book, because they released 2 source books, one that covers the first stage up to Towton, and then one that covers the second stage for basically after Towton up to Stoke Field, being the last Battle of the Wars of the Roses, technically.
So,
but yeah,
I've just been scouring through the comment section, and GP's put something interesting. He's put, regarding Great Escape Games Plastic Cowboys, they're planning a second lot of Cowboy sprues later this year. And the sculptures also worked for Frostgrave. Ones that scale well with North Star's miniatures. So second lot of Cowboy sprue, Martin.
It's good news. I mean, I think they've had an overwhelming response to what they've put out already. Hopefully they'll do some decent bits. Hopefully they'll chuck some female bits in it. Actually, to be fair, because I was looking at that, thinking I was watching The Quick and the Dead. The week, so I thought that'd be cool. And
maybe that's what the second sprue is.
What was that? The series on Netflix where the town and all the men are killed in the mine.
The big shootout at the end
with the women from
Downton Abbey.
Oh Christ! Yeah, I know.
Lawless?
What you mean.
No, not Lawless.
No.
Oh,
shit. Someone will
help
know
us.
In the chat.
Help us
with floundering.
It's certainly
Godless.
something.
Godless.
That was it. It was
well
less.
Done,
It was definitely less. Yeah. So it is something like that they could do. I'm personally hoping for a plastic Native American set. I thought that would be really cool. I mean, the thing is, a lot of people talked about mounted, but I haven't actually seen any bonuses to being mounted in Dead Man's Hand. I've used mounted models twice, and all that seemed to happen was that when they come off, they take twice as much damage. That's the only thing. They can move fast and get shot a lot easier. That's all I seem to find for them.
Yeah.
So are you going to restart your little war bands, Martin, when these plastics come out, and re-sculpt them all?
No, I'm just going to create more options with more weapon options, basically, within them. Because when you do campaign play, if you use the Legend of Dead Man's Hand, you can buy new weapons for people. You can if one of you can level your guys up. Some of them might, for example, drop in hand-to-hand ability, but get better at shooting, and you might want to then buy that guy a Winchester or something. Mm-hmm. So you can do that, and with this set, that'll let you do it. So what I'd probably do is make up 5 guys just how I want, and then keep 5, and then as I play the campaign, I can actually build models to represent those as they're done. That would be my plan.
Got you.
No, that's a cool idea, man. That is very cool. Western horror. There you go. That'd be
yes. Well, Dead Man's Hand. They do the Curse of Dead Man's Hand. I've got the zombie faction.
Yeah, no, that is cool. I've seen that. I was tempted by that, or that's why I can't wait to play that game. I just cannot wait again to play that game. It's going to be so much fun. I'm really looking forward to it. But like in regards to getting back to a bit of painting talk, then. So if you had a tip for somebody that was new to painting, like just wanted like a basic tip that you would give somebody that never picked up a brush, never picked up a pot of paint, and never painted a miniature. Say they've got just a plastic model in front of them. What would just say two tips, but one at a time. So I'll take one from you, Martin, then I'll take one from you, Dom, then we'll go back to Martin, then Dom, then me. I'll do one as well. So what would you say, Martin? Just a tip.
Don't use too small a brush.
Okay.
That's one of the people always when they're starting out seem to go and get like a detail brush. And then they start doing base coating with it. Use the right size brush for the task that you're doing. So if you're base coating, I don't know
what do you recommend.
Number 2? I use a number
brush.
2. I use a number 2 or a number 1. Dom's probably got it right, like a 1.5.
1.5 just works beautifully because exactly that. Like you
1.5.
1.5. It's not 1.5.
I've got
Get 1.5, mate. 1.5.
Yeah, 1.5.
But yeah, so no, you use the my tip would be use an appropriate brush because it'll save you a lot of time and also preserve your brush because people say they go through detail brushes like really, really quick. And I can't work out why. It's like because they're using it for everything.
Yeah. Detail brush is literally for the detail. But yeah, no, that's spot on. That's cool. So what about you, Dom? What tip would you give our beginner?
Oh God, it's different than which one's first with. So I would say don't be afraid to have a go.
Yeah.
I just think, you learn as you do it and don't get too put off by looking at what everyone else. I mean, the thing we all do it. We all do it.
Painters.
We look at all the others and we go, bloody hell, I'll never be able to paint like that. And you know what? Maybe you will, maybe you won't, but just have a damn good go at it. And as long as you're satisfied with it, and you'll get better as you do it. So
practice. That's all it is.
And have a go. And don't listen to anybody else's comments about it. Just if you know when you've done a good job and you know when you haven't, and you just,
Yeah.
If you don't start, you'll never get any better.
No, 100%. So I've got one. If you just got your plastic models, and I was bad for this when I first started, is spray prime your miniatures. So prime your minis. So if you've got a plastic or a metal mini, spray prime it. But when you spray prime it, don't hold the can down and go and hold it in one place. Do little short bursts of sideways. I just find that so much easier than just going.
I love how you have to explain it with the sound effect.
You've seen him on the table, on the gaming table. He's the one that goes bang bang and isn't he? Yeah, that's Ken for you.
But yeah, no, honestly, spray priming and just don't hold the rattle can down and make sure. This is the biggest tip for rattle canning. Shake it properly. I mean, at least 2 minutes shake. And if you can put it in warm water, sounds really stupid, for 5-10 minutes before you do it and shake it for a good 2 minutes, you will never, ever get any bobbling or anything like that. If you hold it down like an idiot going shh, like I did, I've done that, you're going to go mad. Just little sprays and you'll get there.
It's a coating you want. You don't want it to be bathing in it. Not like Martin did the other day and dropped his in the pot of paint.
That was so. I was watching that. I was trying to find it because I was sitting there going, I'm sure I dropped them all this space. So I actually went back and watched the replay trying to find it. And that was horrendous. That was so annoying.
Apparently, everything's better with sound effects.
That's the stream does not need sound effects.
No, you can learn to airbrush at some point and prime your minis, but just rattle can is
perfectly acceptable. And there are also some really good base color. You can get some really clever effects with the different colors. The difference you get with the different undercoat colors you use is quite amazing, and it's well worth having one or two of them around. Culloden was doing a whole series of. Do you see that Culloden did a series of videos using the camo paints you can get for Halfords, and there's 3 different colours and the different effects he got off the same troops with them. It's really clever, isn't it?
Yeah,
really easy to do.
I really like there's certain painters that I really like, and I really like VK, so Fraser, Volcarinham, and I worked out why I really like his medieval minis, and it's because he black spray primes and builds up because it gives it that dull underneath, and it just, do you know what I mean? I really like that for medieval miniatures, and it just makes everything look so nice. And different, like you're saying, Dom, different undercoats do different things. So a white will make things bright, a black will dull things down. So it all just depends, doesn't it? It just depends. And
just experiment with them.
Yeah, just experiment. So tip 2 from you then, Martin. What would you do?
Matt Wright has actually just said what I was about to say. So I'll think of one more. We read out his, which is when you're done doing the rattle can, hold it upside down and spray it until air comes out, and then it gets rid of any blockages.
Do you know what? I didn't know that. I've never done that. That is brilliant. Thank you.
And you won't get, and then you won't get that weird kind of, I'm gonna do this, like, my tip. Okay, this one's probably for someone who's getting started. Something I can't believe I say this actually, but it's something I see, I guess, a lot, and I'm not a pro painter, but I see a lot of people when they start, they chuck blood over weapons and stuff, and I get that people want to do that, but be sparing with it if you want to do it like I do it, because unless you've got like arterial spray in your face, you always, but so a little bit, so even just doing like, so if you want to know a good way to do blood, because I've done quite a lot now, if you use
metal pikes and then stab yourself.
I basically felt like I punched a hedgehog. That's how I felt like that. But basically, if you use the Tamiya Clear Red paint or Blood Angels Red, the contrast paint, mix it with either Agrax Earthshade or what's the Snakebite Leather, right? Yeah. And you equal part, but then let it partially dry. Okay, and it goes a bit gloopy. It basically goes a bit hard. Put it on a knackered small brush, and then just drag it across the weapons, and you'll just get these little streaks, and that's it. And it's just doing like a little bit across, like say the foot of your model, or just a streak across a little bit across a breastplate, or something like that, or on like in the kneecap of a Napoleonic model in a white uniform.
Yeah,
something like that. It just adds a lot. So don't be afraid to do blood. Some people shy away from it completely. I try to do sparingly, or I'll do something gory with someone's leg being blown off and get told off about it on the comments on Facebook. Yeah, go for it, but don't go crazy.
Don't go crazy. Yeah, start small, because you can always you don't have to always add paint. Yeah. You can't take it off. So yeah. Second tip from you, Dom. I'm coming around again, Martin, for one more.
Lighting. Make sure you've got decent lighting. It makes such a difference.
Yeah,
get a
desk lamp.
They don't cost a huge amount of money, but get a desk lamp, a pointable one, and if you can get one of those, what's it called, True Light or Daylight bulbs in them. Yeah, just that gives that perfect color. I mean, you can pick up I've got one here. This is an old one I've had for years and years and years. Just a model light that I have, and it just makes such a difference. So decent lighting, crucial. No,
100%. I've said it before and I'll say it again. For me, 2 thin coats. So if you're using a normal paint, you're not using contrast. So contrast, just put it on, it's fine. But if you use a normal paint, 2 thin coats of this. So wore it down 50-50, 2 thin coats. Yes, it takes a little bit longer, but your finish will be so much nicer than thick paint. So that's my second tip. What about you, Martin, for one more, for a third? Have you got one?
Yeah, glazes. Glazes are your friend. So if you want to do like a third highlight, or you want to add an extra highlight, but you're scared, sometimes just basically either really watering down the paint or using the glaze medium. The Vallejo one is one I use. And I know Games Workshop, Citadel produce their own their own glaze range. Sometimes just adding that in key areas can really bring like an extra pop, if you like, to a model. But again, don't go crazy. And actually, I've got a fourth, but I'll add it now.
Oh, hang on, you can't have more.
I'm going to say. Oh, go on then. Fine, go on. You go around. Go on.
He's going to solve
it. You can end on your one. We'll end on your one. There you go. End on your one. Go on, Dom. What's the next one?
I would say the other one I would say is especially if you're going to start using washes on your models, like we talked about earlier, paint them slightly brighter than you want them to be. because the wash will tone them down a lot, and particularly, even with Napoleon, even with sort of modern or Napoleonics or things like that, just paint them a little bit brighter than you think's necessary, because they'll tone down.
Yeah,
they will tone down.
And washes pull as well, don't they? So just be careful.
Yeah, washes pull. They do, and I think you just need to be conscious, like you were saying earlier, about if you're going to use certain washes. If you put an army painter dark tone on a white uniform, it's going to get very dirty very, very quickly. So just be aware of that and be a bit more.
It's going to go very grey.
Yeah, exactly. But it's going to go. It looks like he's been through the mud, which maybe is the look you're looking for, right? So
perfect,
it can actually work quite well. So just be careful with it, though. I'd always say just a little bit brighter than you think generally works out well.
No, that's cool. Another one for me is a bit more on a specific paint range. If you haven't started, I would suggest that now I know about them. If I was going to start painting, I would start using with contrast paints. So I would start my painting experience using contrast and work from there. I don't know what the other guys feel like that. I just find that you get half decent results and your miniatures look quite good, even if you just use the paint with no wash or anything like that.
I can see that.
Yeah, do you see what I mean?
I see what you mean. I think it is quite a forgiving paint, and you don't have to do an awful lot with it.
No.
But it does. I think the only thing I worry about that idea is that it does have limitations. We know contrast paint does have limitations. So you don't want to be using it for everything. All the time.
But exactly. But just like
if you want to do 80% of a model, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I think I've done 80% quite easily on most of mine.
I've done 100% on some miniatures with just contrast paint. But yeah, I would start with a couple of pots of contrast paint, maybe a couple of pots of normal paint, and maybe 1 or 2 washes. And that's all I'd worry about. But go on mine. You can have the final one.
If you get to the point and you're looking at a model and you think, I need to do something else to this, don't. You're done.
Yeah. You're done.
You're done.
You're done.
If you sometimes you could just be looking at it going, should I do this? No.
If you're saying should,
no, you don't.
No.
If you say that's basically it. I do that a lot. Although what I tend to do now is I send photos to these guys going, "What do you think of this?" I wait for one of them sarcastically to say, "Yeah, do it," because of course it doesn't come through on Facebook, and then I'll do it and then cry. But that hasn't quite happened yet. But no. Genuinely, if you're sitting there and you're like, should I do it? If it's a model you care about and you're not experimenting, like with a rank and file model, don't do it. Just don't,
Yeah.
But then I don't know. But that's me. That's me. Yeah. Again.
I'm one of the guys.
If I can add one other thing in there, I would expand on that and say, I think the other thing I would say is don't feel you want to enjoy doing the painting. It doesn't have to be. You don't want it to become onerous. So if you're not enjoying it, that particular model, put it down, go and do something else, or go and read a book or something else and come back to it. Don't feel you have to, keep working through. I guess we've all done this. Have multiple projects on the go, because sometimes you pick up a thing and you think, I'm just not feeling this. I don't want to do it. I'm going to do something else. Exactly. So, don't. I see that from a lot of people say, I've been struggling to paint this figure, and it's like, well, why don't you go and do something else and come back to it? Because you might feel more like it another day.
Join all the groups on Facebook and stuff, and get confidence from other people and speak to other people about your hobby. It's a great thing. But it's like James put, contrast can be quite expensive. Yeah, it can be. Don't get me wrong. I agree. Yeah, it can be quite expensive, but we don't have an expensive hobby. That's in my opinion, compared to some. It's not too bad as an outlay. No. So, but yeah, no, I see where James is coming from. But you can get a lack of color options. But you can always mix. But there's quite a few colors. I'm not going to lie. The basic stuff.
I think contrast is great for certain periods.
Yes,
because it doesn't have those bright colors that other ranges do have. But that's where I think you mix and match, right? If you're doing your Second World War figures, it's probably very good at the basic level to do.
I can assure you, Games Workshop will probably be bringing out more contrast paint. I'm
sure they will.
See, I'm just going to 100% see that happens. But where is it? Josh put here it's a contrast is good because it's a good confidence booster, and it is because you get good results, with minimal effort, and you get it done quick, and that's always a nice thing to see. But yeah, definitely. So it's getting about that time anyway, and we shall do Mez's Miniatures code. So I'm pretty sure it's this one. I'm right. It's Mez PCP. It's 10% off over on his website. So head over to www.mezesminis.co.uk and put that code in and let Meza know that you come from here. Well, I know you come from here anyway, but you get 10% off his store. So head over there and get that done. But I know another thing, people, because I can't believe it's 10-2, so I better do that as well while we're at it. I know that people have been on the Facebook group, and I'm pretty sure we're close to 200. So if you haven't joined, go and join over there. What's this? Also find out where Don buys his time machine for painting. Yeah, that would be a great idea. I don't know where the freaking hell he buys it from, but
it's secret.
This is a secret machine. But obviously, each week we go across the Facebook group and we pick some pictures out to show you what's been going on in the community this week. And this week there's been no exception. There's been some wicked stuff that's going on. So
well, it's always like the Sunday night flurry of pictures.
Yeah, you lot are kids. We know this. We know that on the Sunday night and the Monday during the day, suddenly about 100 pictures go up on the Facebook page, and we have to sit there and
I do I troll through from the last Monday night, so I'll troll through and we do look for them all. So please just put them up anytime. So
please, we don't just do the last day. Honestly,
so,
we try.
No. So Andrew Hall's done some Germans here, and they are awesome. Some SS, and I love the guy on the left with his the camouflage on his hat.
That's a proper bush hidden.
Yeah,
thing, isn't it?
He's got a bushwookie head, definitely.
Yeah. Jeez.
And yeah, so well done, Andrew. They look awesome, mate. And then you got Brendan as well. He's done nice. Some US Airborne. And again, they look cool. I love. I can't work out. Is that like it is. It's a log that the machine gunner is sitting on at the back there. So I quite like that. That's nice. And he's got a sniper at the front there as well. And they are sweet. Something a bit different from Steve Evans. Bit of terrain. Oh. So can you guess what this is?
I know what it is. So I know what it is. So I'm going to.
So we'll let the comments have about 5 seconds to catch up to see if people can guess. But it is 2 mil terrain. So you think we love 6 mil? Steve's in there with the 2. I'd love to see a bit of 2 mil terrain, and it's quite cool actually, isn't it? How he's done it. So it's proper wicked.
I think they're resin. I think they're from a company. I can't remember who he said produced. Is it?
Are they resin? I thought they were like little balls of like flat fabric.
Or maybe they are. Maybe I'm going nuts.
I'm sure it probably is resin, but they look like little cotton balls or something like that, like wool balls. They look really cool. Absolutely love them.
Like what? Like wool balls.
Cotton balls.
Sorry, you said warbles. I was like, what's a warble?
Warbles.
Please, 6 mil foresters. No, 2 mil. There's it. No, they're cool. I do really like those. So it's nice to see other things. So we're not all about 28 mil. All the different scales and stuff like that, and different periods and whatever you want to put up is just lovely to see painted miniatures. But Ken's put, not me, but Ken. Oh, fucking, these are sweet, aren't they?
Oh, that's
nice. Yeah. Look at that.
That is nice.
Look at the bike.
I tell you what, Martin, you wouldn't just lose your fingers on that. You'd lose your whole hand and most of your arm, I think.
I'm not being funny. If you fell on them, you would actually probably kill yourself.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Ken in the model room by the Swiss Pike Regiment. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it? Exactly. If Haley got really angry with you and chucked that at you, you'd be in serious trouble, wouldn't you?
Yeah, no, just be game over. Death by 1,000 cuts.
I don't know who done the flag. I don't know what the flags are, but they're beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Tony's been in with his Hanoverians.
Bloody hell, he's got a bit carried away with his Hanoverians, hasn't he? Jeez, look at that.
Is that 4? Yeah, so we've got Jaegers and 4 battalions, I think.
Yeah, looks like it.
Which looks lovely stuff.
You're doing Hanoverians as well, aren't you, Martin? So you wanted a
I've got he's got basically about the same amount of infantry. I've got a whole set of I've got a 24-man Jaegers. I've got some cavalry, and I'm about to expand it now.
Don't you call them the old guard crushers in your army?
The red wall. Yeah, that's my
how they saw off the old guard. I will never know. But
repeatedly.
Repeatedly, that's it. They haven't just done it once; they've done it many times.
I know. Okay, we'll leave it there. But Duncan, he's done.
That's all about unruly bushes. That really is an unruly bush.
So what that's this? Oh, what are they called with the one eye? Cyclops, isn't it?
Cyclops, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a Cyclops, and
I saw
yeah.
him writing, talking about this in the comments or in Facebook, I think, a couple of weeks ago, and he said he felt it was just looked too naked, so he wanted to add some hair to it. So he put those tufts on to see what the effect was, and it's kind of clever.
No, oh, they're not actually, but they're not part of the model.
No. Those are actually separate tufts he stuck on under the arms.
That's brilliant. No, that's class. I thought that was part of the model.
No, that's his adaptation to it.
Makes his model a bit different, doesn't it? So yeah, that's cool.
I think it would have been even better if he could have done, and I don't know how you would do it, but sort of almost like hairy chest and a hairy back with it as well. That would be
static grass.
Static grass, exactly. Yeah, how you get it to stick on that, I don't know. But there you go.
Be very
challenging.
But
really cool. Oh,
Josh has done. Yeah, Josh has done some really nice models.
Baron's War stuff there. Very nice.
I love.
Really
What's
nice.
so the chainmail armor there on with the standard bearer? Then I love that style. Is that a specific style of armor? Is it? Or is it just chainmail? Or is it?
It is the chainmail coif with the little flat head helmet.
Yeah.
That's it's the style. I mean, that's a thing that really sort of 12th and 13th century, really.
Yeah. No, that is cool. That is cool. It is
very nice.
Very nice indeed. Matt's done a bit of the Warlord stuff.
Yeah. Mystic Americas. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
America,
that's it.
something like that. Yeah.
So yeah, nice vibrant colours, and again the blood works with that because he's not gone over the top with it. I don't think he has, because it just works, and the eyes are really cool. I really like the orange eyes on those.
Actually, I love the sort of cross pattern on the was it a loincloth or whatever it is?
Oh yeah. The
really
gold,
clever.
the
Really
braiding
nice
sort of stuff. Yeah.
No, that really nice.
Yeah, no, that was really cool. That's very cool. Well done, mate. And something a bit different again. Warren's done some like terrain stuff. So he's done like, which I think is nice because we all know terrain and little add-on bits look really cool on the table. And yeah, really like the shield down the bottom there, the wear on the shield. So use shield instead of it all being brand spanking new. And again, the highlighting work on that's really nice as well. Loving it.
Yeah, love it.
And no, definitely. And our friend Fraser VK, he's got his table. He's got his table, but he's still got a bit of work he said to do on his river. He wants to do a little bit more work on that. But yeah, it's all coming together, his cave, isn't it? Oh, I'm hoping this is gonna be me in a year's time.
Mate. I mean, I've got serious man cave envy there.
Yeah, that is. Oh, isn't it? It's so nice, isn't it? And 2 more to go. So, Josh, he's done some police to go with his home guard.
Very nice.
So for Operation Sea Lion, for bolt action. I don't know where the miniatures are from, actually. I'm not too sure. But I think he listed it, but I can't remember. But they're quite nice, because I would like some of those as well, to be fair. I need to find out where they're from, because I would like them to go with my home guard stuff. But twist your heads for this next one, because I couldn't remember how to rotate it. So, Paul, this is his first time posting. He's not posted on the Facebook group before.
That's very cool.
But they are nice, man.
They are cool.
That's how to do red.
The Lionheart models, isn't it? That somebody, was it the giant model? I can't remember. I've got that model. It's really nice. The guy on the white horse.
Yeah, but
it's a really cool.
Yeah,
model.
the red is nice. I do like the red.
That's also very cool. I've got one that came through on the email because it's not on Facebook, and this is Drew. So he sent a couple of things, but we've got a nice battery of cannons there. But also, Drew has just started up a YouTube channel called Tenement Tabletop. Nice. If you head over to that, he's put his first video out, and it's all Zulus. So he's done Rorke's Drift, and I watched it, watched the end of it, straight away went on eBay, and then stopped myself. Ordering but the guys, everybody's watching, go over and check out Tenement Tabletop. He's going to be doing the British, but he's going to be doing some Zulu battle reports, so it's worth checking out. So Tenement Tabletop. I have something I'd like. I have a request for all of the lovely people that watch, and basically anyone who has the Wars of the Roses infantry box. And oh shit, I dropped it. In the Wars of the Roses infantry box, on the command, I think it's on the command frame, you have lots of these arrow bags, right? And I would just like to request if people don't want them or don't use them, because I've been looking at people's models on here, I was like, no one's using them. I was wondering if I could request people put them in an envelope and send them to me, because I've got a project planned, which is going to be coming together over the next couple of months. It's going to be a big build, but I require as many of these arrow bags as possible. Now, while I have bought about 50 of these boxes over time, I need as many of these arrow bags as I can get hold of. So if anyone doesn't mind, if they want to go into the Facebook group, so Dom, I know you've got some. If you're not going to use them, if I could,
I haven't even opened my box yet, mate. So I don't know. But if I get a chance, I'll go through.
If anyone has them, then
when we're talking about Facebook, but please, if you join, please answer the questions. If you're not recommended to join, because it's so frustrating when we have to refuse entry because we're trying to cut out, for your own good, the spammers and the fake accounts and all that kind of stuff. So answer the questions. They're not difficult. Just answer them, please. I hate saying no.
And if we do say no, don't take it personally. Just reapply and answer the questions. That's all you got to do.
I've got somebody here who's asked to join. I can see he's exactly right to join, but he's not answered any of the questions, so he's going to be a no, I'm afraid.
James,
so send brown envelopes to Mike. Yes, yeah, with arrow bags. It'd be great if I opened a door. It's actually an arrow bag. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
But nice. Model ones, no. It's going to be a big thing on the channel that's going to happen in a couple of months. So I need to start stockpiling.
Yeah, 100%. Oh dear. Right. So don't forget, you got to check out mezzersminis.co.uk. The discount code that has been running below. It's been a very fun and exciting week this week, guys. Sorry that Steve's not been about. But the guys have told me I'm not allowed to say anything, but I'm not going to say anything. But there's going to be some interesting news coming up.
Broadcast now.
There's going to be some interesting news coming up regarding a certain things. So just pay attention.
Can't wait for anything.
Pay attention. That's all I'm going to say.
Are you a nightmare on Christmas Eve?
I bet
you were. I bet you just had to be locked in a room. Like I bet they had like stair gates up until he was about 12 to stop him just getting into places.
Oh dear. No, I had to have a present on Christmas Eve, so yeah, it had to be done. I was one of
Is
those
that still the case? Does Laura have to
Yes.
give you a present on Christmas Eve?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I can't keep a secret, and it's been so hard.
And that's why I haven't told you loads of information, but we should leave it there.
Oh, you better tune in next week, guys. Who's hosting next week? Who is it?
I suppose it's back to me, isn't it? Possibly me again.
Don't know.
Or is it you, Martin? We'll work it out.
We'll work it out. It's either me or Dom.
It'd be
It's either Martin or me. It might be Martin, actually, now I think about it.
But
anyway, we'll work it out.
But guys, thank you very much for watching, guys. We will see you again very soon, and bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.